Hello Internet, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this is Unpopular Culture, and today we're here to talk about Season 4 of Charlie Brooker's Black Mirror on Netflix.
The whole thing.
Yeah, we've given you about a month to watch it. You had plenty of time. So let's talk about it. Oh boy. This is one of, I know, my favorite sci-fi series. Jake, I know, enjoys it as well. If you haven't seen it, I'd suggest you go watch it right now. We also had a review last year of Season 3. So let's go episode by episode. First, we have the USS Callister.
Loved that episode. And you know, okay, the twist, or whatever, I guess the ending twist, not that impressive. I just like the idea.
Yeah,
I just like the premise in general is really fun.
This season, overall, was sort of the season of virtual people. And this episode really starts it off right by showcasing the type of people in our society, and let's say virtual versions of people become a thing you can have in video games. The type of people who play video games and the type of people who are like loner types. What would they do with that absolute power?
I also like that they use the trope of the underappreciated kind of genius nerd guy who's socially awkward that has a crush on a girl. They use that trope against you. Yeah,
because at first you're like, oh, they kind of treat him like shit, but then you see how he treats the people in the game, and you go, oh, that guy's a cunt. Anyway, so actually, I wanted to talk about this guy who did a great dual performance here, Jesse Plemons.
I've seen him in other stuff.
Yeah, he was the creepy guy. He's Meth Damon from Breaking Bad.
Meth Damon.
Yeah.
He was Meth Damon.
Yeah, I think he does a great job here playing both the meek sort of, closed off guy at work. They did a good job, whoever the makeup people are, making him look receding hairline and everything when he's there. And then when he's in the game, he's more Kirk, obviously.
More Meth Damon.
Something I appreciated too, the beginning of the episode starts off at a weird aspect ratio, the 4:3 aspect ratio, more like classic Star Trek. That was a nice little throw you off guard thing. What else?
I kind of like the idea that it makes you question the plot armor of like a Captain Kirk a little bit because it was like. And I really like the idea, because immediately you think, oh, he's raping the fuck out of everybody, right? But he's so wrapped up in the mythos of the off-Star Trek universe that they don't even have genitals. It's all about, it's literally like is only about the Federation type aspect of the fantasy and not the other stuff that he could so clearly do. And so I kind of like that, because he wasn't totally evil. It was just like, there was a little sliver of him where it was like, oh, I can understand what he's thinking, but that's fucked.
Here's what I liked, and I liked the juxtaposition they had between sort of classic Star Trek mythos of we are the paragon of the universe, we will do no harm. Yeah. But he's playing a game doing that, and in doing so he is harming people, which is completely the opposite of Star Trek philosophy in regard to technology and morals.
Now, I will say, a former episode, White Christmas, kind of explains why he would be that way, because John Hamm, if you haven't seen it, it's a very good episode. It's one of my favorite, I think. Yep. John Hamm in that says, at one point, oh, they're just copies. Most people would say, fuck them. And then in this, which I think is, 2-3 years later?
Something like that.
Maybe he should think fuck them, but we as the audience don't, because we see them as people, or at least we're supposed to.
Well, here's the thing. At some point in the Black Mirror universe, I know people are going to say, it's an anthology show. I mean,
it's in the Black Mirror universe. It's very clearly, this season is very clear that it's all in the same universe.
It's clear that there can be a universe, at least a main one, that many of these stories take place in, although some of them are kind of off on their own.
Well, there's future paths, and maybe because of... Okay, honestly, if Charlie Brooker wants to explain it away, you can just say, oh yeah, that's a simulation. And it's done.
There you go. But at some point, cookies, which are these copies of people's, do get...
That's a thing that a lot of people have.
They have human rights in the Black Mirror universe at some point, and the fact that in the episode, I forget her name, but she's also a good actress, and I want to bring up her name, Kristen Miloni.
I've seen her in other shit, too.
She was the mother on How I Met Your Mother when that actually got revealed.
Oh.
Fine actress. She did a good job in this role. There was a screenshot going around. I also tweeted this, but, a bunch of people did. Taking my pussy's a red fucking line because of your moves, their genitals.
Yeah. I think that's a funny joke.
Yeah. Overall, good episode. At the end, he got his comeuppance. He's
The implication is he probably starved to death in that chair.
Yeah, because think about it. They said right before that...
Holidays.
Yeah. 10 days off of work. He put a do not disturb sign on the door because the pizza guy was being, you know, how he was being.
And the thing there is, it seems like normally you could probably turn the cookie off after a little bit, or it would lose. But because he's fucked with it so much, the implication is you're just stuck there.
Maybe, I don't know. I found that to be a good ending.
Yeah.
On top of that, the actual ending when they do escape into...
The rest of the world.
Rest of the video game, and Aaron Paul's there. Very funny cameo.
Yeah. He plays an Xbox Live teenager very well.
Yes, he does. It's probably because of his character on BoJack Horseman, which is fucking that, and it's great.
And honestly, Jesse Pinkman, if he were to have Xbox Live,
I kind of thought they were gonna throw in a bitch there somewhere.
Yeah, bitch, or like maybe like this, like a bowl in the back.
Yeah, something like that. But
water bong.
It's actually, I find this concept, that last, like, interaction with
very
Jesse and
interesting.
Them, I find that interesting enough. If Netflix wanted to do a spin-off series where it's them, and it's like Star Trek, but they're going around a virtual world populated by gamers.
Yeah, oh god, that sounds like a cesspool.
So, I'd like to see that show. Netflix, make it happen.
Yeah.
USS, just fuck it.
Callister.
USS Callister, call it that. Yeah. Great.
Down with that. What was the second episode?
Second episode was... Archangel. This one was a little more slow. I would recall it was slower. It went away. Span of time went away from the virtual people aspect, and it was more just a traditional Black Mirror episode. In that there was
helicopter
a piece of technology. Helicopter parenting was this episode.
Yeah.
I had one issue with this episode. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not. They say the daughter's supposed to be 15. The actress they got looks in her mid-20s, like not even close. Now, this is either just very poor casting, or their thought is, if we actually had someone who looks like 15 getting fucked by someone...
Right. Now, they didn't show any nudity.
I know. No. That's not what I'm saying.
She does say, fuck me.
But if that had happened, you might be more on the side of the mother and be like, oh yeah.
I think it was a little of both. I think storytelling-wise, I think they had people probably cast, or in the casting call, I guess.
Sure.
And they saw a bunch of 15-year-old girls. They're 15, so that it's like, but you gotta bridge it just a little bit.
You need to make it, because...
You know who works for that, though? Like someone like Ellen Page...
Oh yeah, because
you know what I mean.
Kinda,
like
she can play younger.
She can play younger because she's short and she has those soft features. She doesn't have very sharp edges. You know what I mean. So like you could probably find an actress like that, but it seems like they just really like this person. She did fine, by the way.
Yeah.
I think the episode itself was good, but you were supposed to feel like fuck that mom. At the end of the I was gonna say movie because they're basically a film length, but the end of the episode. And I did, so I think that was successfully done. It was, I like it when they take the idea, because people like chip their kids now, right? So they don't lose them and shit, which I think makes sense. I get it. But being able to see through their eyeballs is, I don't want that.
No.
Like, I don't know, I can't imagine wanting that, but it shows how overprotective she is throughout the whole life of the kid and stuff, and I don't know. I think that was a good little vignette in like, hey parents, fucking let them have space, dog.
You know what I appreciated though too? Firstly, it did showcase the danger of you need to be exposed to things and reality, otherwise you have no concept of conflict.
The filter was very interesting, and then that was the thing they had in White Christmas as well.
Yeah, the psychologist brought out a picture, which is a real picture they use in psychology when you're trying to diagnose children and see whether or not they have maybe some sort of social disorder where they don't.
What's it a picture of?
It's a picture of two men fighting.
Oh, that's right.
And you say, what are these men doing? And she says, talking, and that's a very I don't know the word I'm looking for.
Naive
response. It's this kind of response you get when you can't read
very
people.
Sheltered.
You can't understand.
Well, autistic, but it's an autism test usually. Yeah.
So that was interesting, but then when they removed the block, I also respect they did have that kid come up and be like, here's porn, here's fucking the movie Saw, here's a terrorist cutting someone's head off, and it's like, on the other side of this coin...
There is exposure to shit kids probably shouldn't have to see.
Right.
Yeah.
So certainly Archangel is obviously, helicopter parenting to 1,000% bad, but at the same time it says, well, there are still things that kids maybe
I appreciate that about Brooker, by the
to.
way. He's always usually pretty fair in his critique of our social extremes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so while I believe he does side on, while this is bad, don't fucking helicopter your kids.
Yeah.
But, I think that was a good... I don't know. It wasn't a very meme-worthy Black Mirror episode, like, the computers are people!
Right.
But it was definitely, one of a classic Brooker sort of teach a lesson.
This was also, by the way, the episode that was directed by Jodie Foster. I don't know if you...
She did a good job. Yeah, I didn't, I read about that, I think, after I watched, but yeah.
Yeah, I like the song choice at the end, too. That was a...
What was the song?
It goes like, I'm a mother! It was just, sometimes they pick really good, like...
I was surprised, though, because it's a Black Mirror episode. The mom didn't die. She just got fucked up.
Yeah, I think that's better, though.
I agree.
She's now alive in the world, and she has no idea what happened to her daughter, and probably never will. And
that's a worse fate than dying,
and
I think,
her daughter, probably not the most equipped to deal with, like, the last thing you see, she's hitchhiking, gets into a fucking
Well, and that's part of the problem, is because her mom protected her. You can't get that sort of scarification that you need to protect yourself in the outside world.
And the mother, by the way, this whole thing is spoilers, by the way. I assume you assume that.
Why would you had a month.
Gave her emergency contraception without her knowledge.
That's fucked.
Which is fucked.
That's the part. That was the scale tip.
Yep.
I was like, nope. Anyway, what's the third episode? Is this one Metalhead or whatever it's called?
Third one is...
Oh no, this one's Crocodile.
Crocodile. Yeah. Crocodile was another interesting episode.
I like this one. This one was very, very a little bit techno driven, but you could do the same story now.
Yeah. What happens is a couple hits someone on a holiday of some sort. They hide the body. Years later, one of them feels guilty and wants to write a letter.
And they're no longer a couple at that point.
Right. To a spouse of the person who died and who still thinks he might be alive somewhere and say, listen, this is what happened.
You know the fucked up part? The guy was like, I'm not going to use our names.
Probably would have been fine.
Yeah. Okay, I asked you why it's called Crocodile. Is this the real reason?
I don't think so, but
your answer to me was...
I read this online, by the way.
Good.
This was not an original thought.
Sure.
It was, someone said, because they dumped that thing underwater and it kept coming up to bite them over and over again, like a crocodile.
I hope that's not it. But it was very interesting. I think, so basically, they hit a biker, they dump it, and then... guy comes back, says the note we talked about, and then she kills him! Like, very immediately! And you're like, whoa!
Yeah.
Because she was the one that... It wasn't even her fault the first time.
Correct.
So, like, what are you scared of? I don't know, but either way, the fact that it happened, like, that just goes crazy.
Yeah. Meanwhile, as she's murdering this guy, or right after, on the street, there's an autonomous pizza truck, which, did you see? This, I swear to fucking God, it was a week later at CES... accompanied on and they
Pizza Hut.
They look exactly the same.
We're gonna get murdered by pizza trucks.
Anyway,
by the way, I would love pizza truck pizza.
Yeah, it's probably super good. You have an oven in the truck. It's piping fresh. Yeah,
piping hot.
I'll take Black Mirror dystopia if we get hot, fresh pizza every
Just
time.
Constantly.
Anyway, so now there's an insurance agent going around who has a device that can read people's memories. What I liked about this is that it actually addressed memories in a way that is somewhat realistic.
Everyone makes up their own kind of reality with a memory.
In that memories aren't recordings, at least not unless you're in the Black Mirror universe where they have that memory recordy thing, but they're actually sort of series of different sensations we can reconstruct.
Right, she opens a beer bottle to like pretty much everybody because there's bars on that street or whatever, and they smell it, and then like the coat color was different. For the girl in the raincoat, it was like yellow and then green or something like that.
Yeah.
And then just, I don't know, the different sensations. The song that was playing in the background kept coming up.
Man, that song, they keep bringing that up in Black Mirror. That's a real song. Black Mirror didn't make that up.
Yeah.
I really like that song now.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just a really cool concept. Basically, of course, it leads to the lady that killed the guy, and then they do the memory thing, and she's trying to talk herself out of giving the correct memory, and then she can't, of course, because she's dwelling on it, and then she has to kill that person, and then kill her family, including the kid.
Who, by the way, this episode was a big build-up to a dead baby joke, which
I
I respect Charlie Brooker for, because the joke is, the baby was blind the whole time. Yeah. I can see Brooker on his keyboard, the minute he wrote that sentence, he probably backspaced that like 4 times and rewrote it and was like, no, fuck it. It's in.
It's a blind baby.
It's a blind fucking baby.
Of course. Also, it's a baby. It doesn't know that dad getting murdered is a thing.
How would you talk a baby through that
It was
process?
like 2 years old. It was still in a crib. That baby cannot articulate thought.
You know what? I say, how would you talk the baby through it? Apparently, they talked the guinea pig through it just fine somehow.
Yeah.
So, how did that work? I'll go out on a limb and say maybe there is a more intrusive version of this that can be used on more disposable things like animals.
The guinea pig, if you apparently want spoilers, they memory the guinea pig and discover what happened and then find her. But by the way, I really like the ending of it. They don't show the whole process. They just show the closing in of all the results of your bullshit.
Oh my god, that was one of my favorite final scenes of a Black Mirror, because you see her at that recital
with her daughter,
and you can tell she's just fucking shit by everything today, the horrible things she's done, and then maybe she can probably even hear it happening behind her, but she's just trying to be like,
wish it away.
This is the last. Nope. I did all that stuff. This is the last seconds of fucking normalcy in my entire life. I'm gonna hold on to it as tightly as I can.
It was it was good. It was a well done episode. Again, we went through that one much quicker, but because the concept was very simple.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lesson to be like, don't kill kids. I mean, that's probably, the only lesson to take away. But I just like the idea of running from shit you maybe didn't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And that her desperation caused the problem she was in, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, next episode is Hang the DJ. This is one of the higher rated episodes this season, which is interesting. Again, I think that's because a lot of people are calling it this season's San Junipero. I think that's a little bit of a disservice to, I think, deeper themes that run in this episode, which I'll talk about closer to the end.
And also San Junipero.
Sure. So, this episode, a couple arrives, not together, but 2 individuals arrive at this compound, and it appears to be a compound where singles go when they come of a certain age, and they are set into different relationships. Basically, you have every relationship of your life back to back, and based on your relationships, they pick a perfect match for you or whatever.
Right.
With a 99.8% success rate.
Which, I mean, that's kind of fun at the end, but
sure.
It's a little it's again, that's a backspaced sort of, do I want to at the end? Of course I want to at the end.
So they go on their first date together. They only have like 12 hours together.
And you can tell the on-screen chemistry is very good. You can tell that clearly it's a match you want to see go further because of like tropes in TV.
I think all the performances in this episode are really good, especially, and I give so much credit because I don't think a lot of people
the guy with the annoying tick was really fun.
He was fun. I love the
bitch.
Sort of the bitch.
Yeah.
Because she played the hell out of that. She played like a super cold, unlikable.
You think you didn't like Skylar in Breaking Bad? This bitch. Irredeemable.
I think she says like, "Oh, you're the kind of person who makes jokes."
Oh, you people.
So that was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Let's see. So he goes through some different relationships. They wind up back together, but they both agree not to look at the thing that says how long they're actually going to be together.
Yeah.
The time span ranges from hours to years, by the way.
Yeah. Well, unless you're a perfect match, in which case it's just like that's it.
No, that's not how it works. No, if they're perfect, they decide the perfect match after. These are all tests. They tell you when you have.
Oh, and then you're right, and then they select a perfect match day, and they assume it's different people.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, he looks, and it fucks it up, and it makes it go down really fast. So they're running through the shit, and you're like, Romeo and Juliet, and the whole thing is, if they basically defect away from this compound and try to climb out, there's like a big ladder, and they try to climb out together.
Then it means they win. They are a match. The twist. Which they gave away halfway through the episode, by the way.
Yeah. Which again, I immediately thought, that's probably the answer.
Yeah, I mean, part of me can go, it's kind of ballsy to just say your twist in the middle and then hope people don't think, oh, that's the twist. Yeah. And I'm sure there's a percentage of people who went through this
who didn't catch it.
But like, from that point on, I assumed the whole thing was a simulation, and at the end, it turns out it was. It was all in a dating app, and they run 1,000 simulations of this
through
compound.
Your personality profile, which, again, I believe goes back to White Christmas.
Yeah.
And the idea is there because you can get a personality profile, and it matches you up, and then, although you don't have a John Hamm in your ear.
So... it turns out they're not real people, and they all get zooped up into the app.
And then they do 1,000 simulations. 998 of them got out, ran away together.
99.8, get it?
Yeah. And then they see each other in a bar.
I assume it terminates those programs. So then they see each other in a bar, the real thems, who look a little bit different, and the song Hang the DJ's playing. Yeah. It's a nice ending. They just kind of look at each other. It's kind of nice.
Because they're both looking at their app going, oh, this is who I'm supposed to meet for a date today.
Yeah.
Because it's the dating app.
Now, a lot of people calling it this year's San Junipero
implies the happy ending is a happy
ending.
There's 1,000 versions of each of them
who
existed,
lived for years, and died once their utility was over.
Yeah,
for a dating app.
Yeah. So is that ethical?
I think what Charlie Brooker is doing is much like in-universe Black Mirror. People are okay with the abuse of cookies for certain reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is for love. It makes us feel good. This is fine. That makes this fine. And it makes you not think about the ethical concerns like you would in other episodes, for instance. No, it's probably not ethical to create at least 2,000 versions of people.
Not including the thousands of versions of the other people in the same dating app that they date.
Yeah.
To check out. Because that's what those are. Those are real people.
They gotta be, right?
They are. Well, they are, because that's how it works. It matches you in the same database, and that's why there's a bunch of people.
That's fair.
Yeah, and so and what it does is that little pre-wedding thing. They're like, oh, we found our match. That's literally what's it called? That dating app that you pay for. It's been the old one. Like, fuck, now I can't think of it. eHarmony. It's those ads for eHarmony playing in the app. To the person, it's an ad. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an ad for the app that they're in. Right.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah. So
weird.
yeah. So it's just a bunch of people. Yeah, and they all get wiped out immediately. So
oh God.
Yeah, and that doesn't take place in their phones, by the way. It takes place in the cloud.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
And then that's all deleted if they decide to end their accounts. I assume.
Here's the thing.
Because otherwise, I assume that there's still at least one copy of each of them rotating around for other people looking for matches, and they're still in the database because they just met each other.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not like it stops.
That's true.
Right?
That's fair.
It just stopped for each of them, so their copies stop, not the copies that people use to see if they're compatible with those two.
Yeah. Okay, so
if you haven't seen this episode, none of that made sense to you.
I'm gonna hope this is post when cookies gain human rights in the Black Mirror universe, and once they escape from their little dating app, they get sent to fucking, Ticker Industries, and they can live in San Junipero with their escaped virgin. No, they are fucking dead.
Yeah.
Thanks, Charlie Brooker.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This next episode was my least favorite, but I didn't hate it.
Metalhead?
Yeah, because, first of all, I really like the film style. I like black and white. I think that's good. This is one of those outlier episodes that doesn't really fall in line with the rest of the season. It's basically like, it's a future dystopian thriller, and I dug it. But it was, and the twist was fine. It wasn't a big twist. It was more like you did that for no reason, which is kind of fun. Yeah. But, I think the dog thing, or the hounds, or whatever they call them, are interesting.
It's based off of Boston Dynamics. They actually call them dogs, Big Dog and Little Dog. You can look it up on YouTube. They have them, and they are very creepy in real life.
Yeah, and they run weird. I just watched the thing that can backflip yesterday, and I watched it fuck up a couple times. That was fun, too.
I mean, they're super cool. I find robotics and the future of robotics amazing. But holy shit, this episode's fucking scary. I don't like horror movies. You know I don't.
Yeah, I don't like
You know why I don't like horror movies?
Because they're scary?
Because I'm not scared by, like, ghosts and stuff, because ghosts...
Oh, you like to be scared. Some people just freak out.
No, ghosts aren't real.
Robots are real.
And no amount of anything will be like, oh, but for the sake of this movie. I can't do that. My brain doesn't work that way.
I can't either. That's why I liked it, because it was like, okay, part of it's creepy, but it was fun.
Yeah. But this, fucking military grade robot, like quadrupedal robots.
And it blows your fucking skull out.
That will be a thing within my lifetime.
Oh, and the blowy uppy, the way it shoots shrapnel that tracks you was creepy.
Yeah.
And the way it sticks in,
That is a thing that will kill a person in the next 50 years. I would put money on it.
By the way, but for the record, the way she offs herself, no, just wait until one of them blows your fucking head off.
How did she off herself? I forgot.
She cuts her own fucking throat.
Oh, yeah. Well,
there's no implication that something bad happens to you after you get killed by the doggies.
Is there anything that could have maybe led them back to where the other people were? Because it only tracks her if she's got the shrapnel in them, and then it's not like they read their thought. Like if they would have added a thing, with the crocodile episode where it can read your memories and shit, that makes sense. If you have to be dead for a certain amount of time. That'd be great if it could. They could even bring in the technologies from previous episodes.
But they didn't.
The entire history of you, where maybe it scans the memory thing.
Right. But they didn't. So I was like, there's no reason why you should be doing that. You're just very paranoid and don't want to die to dogs to give them the satisfaction. But the robot, they don't get satisfaction.
Maybe, but I think that
I understand doing it with zombies because you get eaten to death.
Here's my thought. I think it comes down to, and again, I think the ending twist has to do with these themes. And I think the theme is, how would humans and their behavior, how would they deal with an enemy that has no real motivation?
No exploration.
It's just... And humans don't behave rationally in the face of that kind of thing. Of course not. So she went out and she was trying to get a teddy bear for her, kid. Of course
that's... It wasn't her kid, though.
Or it was a kid, whatever. Of course that's stupid. Of course, but that's...
Right, three people die for this.
But humans do that kind of thing.
Of course!
And robots don't give a fuck that they're just getting teddy bears. Those robots are programmed to kill them.
For some reason.
We
don't find out, which is fine. I don't need that.
I'm glad we don't find out.
Yeah,
it's all for the better.
I don't need that.
I found this to be an excellent just chase thriller. I mean, it's up there with, Terminator 2 as far as robot... chasing a person.
I wouldn't say it's as good as I don't want to say as good as Terminator 2. I say the suspense is as good as Terminator 2 gets.
Yes.
Okay, but I wouldn't say it's as good as that movie.
It gave
you know what I'm saying?
It gave me very Terminator 1 vibes when it's more
yeah.
There's a ceaseless fucking machine
I
coming
think the actress they picked to play though wasn't quite what we needed. You know what I mean? There was something there that was just like, I can't really tell if she cares that much about herself. And people that care about themselves running, that's who is scary. That's when it's scary. You know what I mean? She kind of felt self-sacrificial. And that's not scary. It's scarier when someone's really fucking worried about themselves.
Okay.
Yeah. So, which is why Sarah Connor that's a big deal in T1. But yeah, I think it was a good movie. It's my least favorite of the season, but it's by no means a bad episode at all. But the only reason it's my least favorite is because it could have been anything. It doesn't have to be Black Mirror.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? It felt very sci-fi thing that didn't have to fall under Charlie Brooker's purview, and but it was really good, and I recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen Black Mirror before as a good way to introduce them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fourth and probably my favorite of the season. Fourth, sorry.
Gotta be sixth.
Fourth. Sixth and probably my favorite of the season.
Yeah. And last episode of the season
is Black Museum.
Oh man, what a good episode.
Yeah.
By the way, Rollo
Haynes.
That was Rollo. It was Rollo.
Rollo Haynes. Okay.
What an amazing actor that I wish was around forever.
This episode is an anthology within an anthology. So much like White Christmas, actually, or Black Christmas, whatever the heck.
White Christmas.
White Christmas? Okay, much like White Christmas, it's got a lot of little stories in it. And it's framed around a storytelling device that is Rollo Haynes, who owns the Black Museum, which is a museum of basically digital crime, cookie crimes, sort of.
Yeah, it's got a lot of stuff from outside of these episodes.
Yeah, it actually has a lot from the episodes we saw this season and in previous seasons, which is pretty cool. So a young girl goes in.
This had a good twist.
Yeah. Young girl goes in, sounds British, and he begins
I like the car chargey thing, too.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
Neat.
She's basically going down Route 66 type thing, and her car has been converted to solar, so she sets up next to an abandoned gas station.
No.
Sets it there for a couple
hours. By
the
way, did you notice what the gas station was called?
No.
It was BRB gas station.
Oh,
so
okay.
Be Right Back, the one with Domhnall Gleeson, which was what, season 2?
Yeah, season 2. So the first story he tells her, and he is, by the way, I would love...
Amazing. What a good storytelling actor.
I know, he is. So really, despite what happens at the end of this episode, I would love if they bring him back maybe before the events of this episode and have him tell some other stories.
Every season could finish with a Rollo episode, and I would be
I'd love it.
Absolutely fine.
Or fuck it, it can even be a cookie copy of him, and that could be the joke. Anyway,
fuck it, yeah.
So the first story they tell, actually, the first story is based on a short story written by Penn Jillette.
Yeah, we actually talked about this when we previewed the season, I think.
Yeah, this is not an idea that is 100% original. I know for a fact, for instance, Carl Pilkington on the Ricky Gervais show talked about the same device and idea, although not in a horror way, the way Penn turned it into.
Well, Carl is...
Carl's
Is he a comedic genius? Or just the most autistic?
I think at this point he's in on it, but...
He's so funny. He's still so funny.
I think he's him, but he plays it up now,
God,
knowing what is...
You ever heard about the ant fart story?
No.
An ant calls his mom mid-fart and then continues to fart until the end, and it just kills... You know how when Ricky starts heave laughing? They have them both... anyway, it's not about Carl Pilkington.
Anyway.
But goddamn, I love that man.
So the story, based on the short story by Penn Jillette, involves a Rollo, who used to work for Ticker Industries, the same company that is from, actually, the episode San Junipero.
And St. Juniper's is the hospital.
Which... nice world building. I like the little subtle world building we were getting. So he goes to a doctor and essentially says, hey, what's the most difficult part about diagnosing someone? It's that they don't have medical knowledge. Yeah. So strap this helmet on, or not, we'll put a helmet on them and we'll implant a thing in you, and you'll be able to feel how they're feeling so you can diagnose them by feeling their illness, whether it be cancer or, stabbings or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is.
And that happens, and at first it's fine. Then he starts using it for other stuff. Mm-hmm. He starts getting into it.
Yeah, well, he feels someone die.
Oh,
that's the catalyst. Once he feels someone die, it fucks him up to where it changes the pleasure he gets to pain-based pleasure.
Yeah.
So he starts fucking while really, really abusing the person.
Yeah. And before that, though, I find it interesting that they at least... God, I'm good... Brooker, he's like, fuck it, of course people would do this, even though it's weird. Put the helmet on the girlfriend, he's fucking the girlfriend, and he feels both their orgasms because, it's funny. And then...
Which, by the way, good for him. Yeah. Because I don't know how long he was going for. Like, at a certain point, how desensitized are you that, like, are we, like, eighth try? You know what I mean? Like, how far... Is that the first time?
I know.
Either way, porn star status for that guy.
Good for him. Anyway, so he starts coming to the hospital wearing the helmet on
literally coming to the hospital.
On days he's not even supposed to be working, and a woman comes in with like a heart attack or something, and they're like, it's a heart attack, we know what it is. Right. He's like, no, just let me, and he puts the helmet on her, and he's like...
He's trying to hide it.
He's trying to hide it.
Can't hide it.
But he's clearly getting off to feeling this heart attack.
They get rid of him.
And as she's like dying, and I'm pretty sure she does die in front of him, and he's pulled back and he's like, ah! And again, that moment's good in and of itself, but what Rollo says, and this is to the writing and to, again, Rollo, the guy who played Rollo's, I know his real name isn't Rollo, his performance, he says this little thing, he's like, he looked like an alcoholic watching someone pour good shit down the drain. What a way, something like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, the way he said it just made the moment feel like, oh, you felt dirty watching it.
Yeah, it was really good. And by the way, I really like that every time we cut back to Rollo, it's just hot in there. Mm-hmm. And it kind of gives this grime to the stories he's telling, which is even better. Yeah.
The next story, he talks about a couple. One of them is in a coma. The wife is in a coma. Or the girlfriend, I guess. And he goes to them and says, hey, we can use TalkBox technology, kind of. Talk boxes, by the way, they actually mentioned these in San Junipero. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
They were a device that lets coma patients...
But it was only like red or green at the time.
I believe by the time of San Junipero, the talk boxes had gotten to the point where you can, like, talk through them. But anyway, so they say, we can take your coma wife, and she can be put in sort of your head.
And I thought, no! And he goes, yes! Dumb.
So...
Of course, she starts nagging.
Yeah, but the thing is, too, we talked about this. Cookies, whether or not they're copies or transferences of consciousness, what's the difference?
I think by San Junipero, I'm pretty sure they're not copies.
By San Junipero, let's say it's a transference.
I think this one might not be. Because the way he frames the body dies, we got to euthanize her.
Yeah.
And then So I don't think she's alive anymore.
No, I believe this is a cookie copy.
In San Junipero, because they can jump in and out, and they can sample it beforehand, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can be in there while you're alive, why couldn't they didn't have to make a copy of you while you were alive to experience it, right? So why couldn't you be in there after you're dead and just...
I guess, but the transference is always going to be effectively a copy because you're no longer meat brain. Your consciousness has now been transferred to...
Transfer isn't a copy, though. It's a cut and paste, not a copy paste.
Effectively, in a computer, they're the same thing.
Sure.
And that's what I'm saying. We're dealing with computers here. So.
I just think, by San Junipero specifically, it's not death.
By San Junipero, they have solved Ship of Theseus problems.
Yes.
And it is a transference. Okay, fine. Let's say that.
But this is not that. I firmly believe this is not that.
Especially considering this was very clearly the early...
It was the first one. It was
before they had, like, the John Hamm cookies even that were in the thing. And they had to put it in someone's head. So... Anyway, they probably killed the actual wife and stuck a copy in the head. They brought the daughter in, by the way, immediately. Son? Was it a son? Brought the son in immediately with the dead one laying there. The dead body of the... Oh, God. Anyway, goes about as well as you would think. She doesn't feel right because she has no agency. She's just in basically a chair in an empty room with a screen.
Now, I did think it was interesting because she can be put on pause, which is a thing they incorporate very shortly after this.
Yes.
She experiences it very differently than the cookie from the John Hamm episode.
Yeah, in that...
Like the direct opposite.
Yeah.
So she gets paused and then turns back on. And she thinks she doesn't feel time passage, but it's been like, what, 3-4 months the first time?
Yeah.
And then she's like pissed, which is hilarious and fucked up. Because, she's just, they keep fighting, which of course they would keep fighting.
Yeah.
And by the way, she's very selfish. She's very selfish. Because, first of all, he does this out of the kindness of his heart.
This whole plan was...
It was all very stupid. He was selfish too. He was selfish too, but don't get me wrong. But she's dead... And he just looks at another woman, and she's like, you can't look at anybody. It's like, you're fucking dead. You've been dead.
That's fair.
Deal with that. You're going to have to deal with that. That's a thing. You're here so that we can have this kid together, but I'm still going to have relationships. Right? It seems fucked that she would even think that dick was still hers.
I actually think the compromise they came to where it was like weekends or something.
That's recent.
That's
decent. But he skips weekends a lot.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
They're just not good people, either of them.
Each other, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Anyway,
he deletes her, right?
He
puts her in a teddy bear.
They put her in a monkey. Which is fucking amazing.
And then Rollo has that monkey.
I love the scene, by the way, where the new girlfriend takes the monkey and is fucking threatening it.
That's a great scene.
And there's even a second
where I like how it's on this side, and then on the other side it's the guy and the kid on the other side of the wall, and she's like, "Fuck you, bitch,"
and she's like,
"Monkey sad,"
or monkey
needs a hug.
It's like monkey needs a hug for no, or something like that.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
And anyway, Rollo has her now in the museum, and it is illegal to delete her.
That's more fucked.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not illegal to transfer things to other things, so Rollo's keeping her in that to be a fucking asshole. Yeah. So after this episode, I'd like to think after what happens, which we'll talk about, she got transferred into something else too. So, last exhibit is a death row inmate who was electrocuted.
This is beyond ethics. Usually there's like an ethical gray a little bit, like, oh, I can see the benefits of this. This is straight porn. This is
how fucked up could we get porn?
Yeah.
Creating literal hell on earth. Actually, you know what? San Junipero creating literal heaven on earth. Flip side of that coin is this. And that is...
A guy accused of a crime. Maybe it's up in the air if he committed it or not.
They imply pretty strongly...
He's probably innocent. But either way, this is still... Regardless of the crime, I do not agree. No. By the way, if you happen to be of a religious leaning... This should make you think. I think that might be what he was trying to do. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like the constant torture for a finite crime sort of thing. Maybe. I think that was interesting.
Maybe, but...
like, if you think that's fucked up, I mean...
Rollo got a death row inmate to sign off his afterlife rights. Oh. So after he dies, he becomes an exhibit in his museum.
They use a cookie to steal his thing. So, again, that implies either it is a copy for sure, but at that point, it's San Junipero time... So I don't think it is, which makes it worse.
Well, they also make copies of them, though, too, for souvenirs.
After that.
As souvenirs.
Right.
Anyway, so...
Copies of that moment.
Oh, yeah. I'll talk about that. So Rollo sets up this little cell for his little hologram guy.
Yeah.
He looks a lot like, I think what they were going for is sort of those Tupac holograms.
Tupac holograms.
You know what I'm talking about.
That Asian...
girl pop band?
Girl pop band thing that's just...
Yeah. I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
So people would come and they could, like, re-electrocute this guy, and he would actually feel the pain of being electrocuted every time, and he could pay to do it.
And they could only go to, like, up to 8 seconds, I think?
I think it was... He said
10 was the max.
10 was the
but
limit.
He set it at 8, right?
No. If you hit 15, it would fry him
totally.
Oh, it was
15, yeah.
He set the limit at 10, just to be safe. So...
And then he would pay people to test the limits?
Yeah.
So they would pay him.
They would pay. Creepy people. Anyway, a thing that if you paid to electrocute them, it would create a copy consciousness of him.
In that moment.
In the moment of pain forever.
Which was experiencing that pain forever.
Yeah. Actually experiencing pain. Eternally, as long as your little keychain thing. And, based upon the laws that they talked about in the episode, it's illegal to delete cookies. Those things can't even legally be deleted. So...
Beyond fucked.
Yeah. Anyway... So what happens is it turns out the British girl who was there the whole time turns out actually the daughter of the convicted murderer, maybe not a murderer, whatever he is.
I like a New Orleans accent at that point.
Sure. Yeah, and she switches her accent so it's like more New Orleans. And Rollo, as it turns out, she's been poisoning him by giving him...
Because she turned the heat up, which is why it was so grimy and hot in there, and then she offers him water, which has poison in it, which kills him eventually.
But first, she puts one of those things on it, gets his consciousness, sticks the consciousness, this is super interesting, sticks his consciousness, much like the couple that had the wife in the back of his head, stuck it in the back of the virtual criminal's head.
Yeah, so he's riding passenger in the criminal's head, then she turns on the electricity to fry the original consciousness on purpose out of mercy, but Rollo has to experience all of that.
And he'll
because they establish in the coma patient one that she can feel like his boners.
Yeah,
she can feel his heart palpitations, his pain, and like when he eats stuff. So he eats stuff that she hates on purpose.
Yeah, and I think she also implied as long as the building. I mean, she burns down the building at the end, but she leaves it running. I don't think like.
Well, his consciousness pops out, and she takes one of the.
She takes a copy
of the thing,
puts it on her.
Of him feeling that. Oh man.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, also, she's fucked up, but I think he maybe deserves a little bit of it. But I don't know about eternally.
No, again, that's too much for anyone. And then it turns out the mom is in her head, also.
Yeah, which I don't agree with as well.
Also, no one should share consciousness with other people. Bad idea. Like it could be someone who is truly the love of your life.
Yeah, don't do it. They will not be after that.
They won't be.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
People need to be people.
Yeah,
not peoples. Anyway. So that's Black Mirror Season 4. Overall, I liked this season. I thought it had some of the best episodes.
Might be my favorite season.
Of the entire series, however, with a caveat. The next season, they gotta avoid, like, virtual people stories, because I think they've really, really told a lot this season.
I think that was for the Black Museum episode.
Probably, but I just hope they focus more on the sort of archangel stuff.
I like the props in people's lives that make the real life change.
Yes.
like the rating system episode.
Yeah, stuff where a new device or gadget changes the way society functions.
Right.
Not just, the world's not real! That's a fine twist, and there are stories you can tell with that. Sure. And they've told many great stories. Yeah, they've told great stories with that. But now this is the season of cookies. It's over. Next season, let's do some more stuff.
Yeah. Although, was there talk of this being the last
season? There was rumors this is going to be the last season. I don't know why it would be. I hope not. I hope Charlie Brooker hasn't decided to...
To be fair, he took off like, a year and a half last time?
Something, I don't know. I don't expect it to necessarily come out right away next year. 2 seasons in a row.
That's kind of how British television works. Even though this is a Netflix contract, it's kind of how it works anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he took a year off, but I think he'll be back. There's plenty, especially technology coming out now. I was talking to you about this robot dog. I want you to Google it after we're done, because I want you to see this thing. It's actually pretty creepy. Not creepy. It's starting to get to the point where it's like, I'm thinking...
Did you see the new sex robots, too?
No, I didn't see the sex robots. It's making me think, oh no, the future is actually like, oh no.
Yeah.
we're gonna live through that shit. Bad.
This is the precipice, the Will Smith AI robot wars. Dude, the first robot soldiers are gonna be really interesting.
I've actually been looking at consumer security robots.
For what reason?
For my house.
You're gonna die in your paranoid hellhole.
Probably. Anyway, so while we're talking about this, I wanted to pimp another show that if you're a fan of Black Mirror and you want a more sci-fi itch scratched.
I haven't seen this show yet.
Yeah, it's great. Amazon Prime has a show called Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams. I believe in the UK it's on some other channel, but Amazon has picked it up here in the US. All the episodes are available right now. I think there's like 8 to 10 of them. Sci-fi stories ranging from great, amazing to... I'm still glad I watched that.
Yeah.
The one with... There's actually... The interesting thing about some of these stories, specifically I'll say the Steve Buscemi episode, it feels like I'm watching a sci-fi TV show, but from like 20 years in the future, where I'm not totally grasping like... the message they're trying to get across because it's not for... Like, imagine
if it's not for you, it's for later.
I mean? Like, imagine if you sent any, like, that rating app thing episode of Black Mirror. Send it back to 1980s. They're gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
They're not gonna understand what's going on. And some of the episodes in Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams, which is the name of the show, based on the works of Philip K. Dick. Sorry, my hip. Anyway, it's so weird. It's like, it deals with not just robot consciousness is already a thing in that story. They're not talking, like, it's almost like it's a story from a world in which robots are already a thing, have rights.
Sure.
But what's the difference between a robot and a human? And Steve Buscemi works at a factory that makes souls.
That's neat.
It very skirts the sci-fantasy, and like it's a weird middle place between where it starts rubbing, and it's like I don't know what to do with it because it's even a dystopia, but a weird eco-dystopia where everyone drives electric cars, everyone has these little communities they live in.
Sure.
But your food is delivered to your house via a truck, and you have to eat that food, and when it expires, the day it expires, it gets sucked out of your house. And you can't plant your own food. Steve Buscemi, at some point, he hides a potato that starts rooting because he's like, this is fucking mine. This is mine. You know? And he's trying to bury it, and everywhere he goes, there's metal under the ground because it's all been metaled over, so... And a guy comes to the door and is like, when he finally does find a place to plant it, he finds a place off to the side, they find it, and they're like, how would your local community's economy work if you planted all your own food? So it's basically like, grow, eat local, but like dystopian.
That's neat.
Which is a thing I've never thought of before. Yeah. Because like the environment is like, okay, like there's wind farms everywhere, and it's like...
So it's nice out. But we saved the world. But at the expense of growing your own shit and having your own choices there.
And that's just the backdrop, because then it has him dealing with this robot.
It's remember that we've talked about this before, but remember the people that were upset about the Obama light bulbs, where they're just more eco-friendly light bulbs? It's what they fear. They fear this far left eco-friendly authoritarian government, right?
I guess.
You know what I'm saying? No, that is that, though.
I guess. I'd rather live in that than...
Well, I agree. I'm just saying.
Anyway. So that show's very good. They have a lot of good talent on that. I think Bryan Cranston is a producer, so he's in one of the episodes, and he gets a chance to show his acting chops. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's a story in which he gets to very much play Heisenberg and Hal from Malcolm in the Middle.
Huh.
There's something in the episode that happens where he gets to, and I think that's why he is that part, because they knew he could play both. So, really great. Check it out. So, I guess that's it.
What do we rate the season?
Oh,
8.5 out of 10.
It's probably about where I am, 8.5. Again, I like the cookie stuff. I really, really do. But when it starts,
I think where Metalhead is, or maybe where. Maybe I don't know. Maybe where Crocodile is something else, because Crocodile was very not cookie, but it still used the same that technology. But so somewhere in there needed to be something like an exterior thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what I'm saying. Here's my rating in order.
Of favorite episode?
Yeah,
Black Museum's my first one.
From favorite to least favorite. Mine is Black Museum.
Yep.
Then it's going to go USS Callister. Yep. Hang the DJ.
Yep.
Metalhead.
Yep.
Crocodile. Archangel.
Yeah.
Same? Okay. Well, that's our consensus, I guess.
But by the way, my lowest rated one, the Archangel, probably 7.5.
Yeah, and even that's about what it is on IMDb too.
Yeah, so I mean,
right.
it's pretty damn good season.
Yeah.
I just think Rollo stole the show, and that's why he's my favorite, because he's so good.
Some people complain they feel like the show's getting Americanized.
Really?
I don't feel that
because
way.
It takes place in America from time to time?
They still have a lot of British actors. I get it.
They're mostly British.
There's a certain flavor, and I get it, but I think that is honestly because the production budget's higher and it looks better. Sorry.
Oops!
So, I don't know. I don't feel like the storytelling has gotten Americanized.
I agree. I think British television is some of the more thoughtful.
There's still bleak as fuck episodes and concepts in this.
Because it rains all the time in England.
Is that why?
Yeah, they're just fucking... You ever talk to someone from England? I have a lot of friends from England, and just bleak motherfuckers.
I assumed once they buried Margaret Thatcher there, the land was just in ruination for all time.
It just starts to... There's just necrotic sort of...
Anyway.
Sorry, England.
So that's it. You can always follow us on Twitter at PapaBirdJake.
At Hugo Reloaded. You can also subscribe to the channel and make sure you get more of this. There's more stuff coming out this week. We took a little bit of a break for the holidays and stuff. We're back into it. No big deal. We did a little bit D&D stuff.
Yeah.
Got a food video out. You know.
And my Hugo's 3 D&D printing is coming.
We believe in him.
This nozzle fucking thing, it keeps leaking. The nozzle's leaking and it's making very messy results. And I can't be like, look at how I can show you how to 3D
The next episode
print.
is going to be Hugo making me a dragon. Making me a dragon?
How big?
Big one.
What color?
Wow. Like, you can't, isn't it?
There's different color filaments. I have different colors.
Oh, I don't know. What do you want to die to in D&D?
Nothing. Preferably.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, well. Anyway. Other than that, until next time, I'm Hugo.
I'm Jake.
Unpopular culture. Try not to die in a horrible... dystopia. Robot accident. Watch out for pizza trucks.
Don't hit people with your car.
Don't inject a thing that's vaguely injected into your child's temple and then...
Yeah.
Did you know?
Don't watch your kids fuck people.
You want to... Actually, real quick.
Are we not bailing out? We're not bailing out? We're back in?
Let me go over...
I was about to dismount.
Let me...
I was going to turn it off. I was going to turn it off and just turn it into a big old slob.
Easter eggs. I didn't do Easter eggs. I like doing Easter eggs because it's just...
All right, bonus!
Bonus. That's it. Movie magic.
Bonus.
Okay. In USS Callister, the planet Scalane 4 in the USS Callister universe, which is named for Victoria Scalane, the white bear protagonist.
I knew that sounded familiar!
Yeah.
God!
So in-game, he's naming fucking planets after child murderers.
Child accessories to murder.
The planet Rannoch in the USS Callister universe. Ian Rannoch is the name of Victoria Scalane's boyfriend.
Oh, I didn't remember that one.
So, yeah.
I had watched White Bear before I watched USS Callister, and I was like, why is that fucking...
Yeah.
Scullane and Rannoch, that's fucking good.
Raymond brand chocolate and strawberry milk is the milk daily drinks in the USS Callister. Raymond mentions her family owning a farm in Men Against Fire.
Like a strawberry farm?
Like, yeah, so...
Or a milk farm.
Or a milk farm, a dairy farm, so...
A milk farm. Fucking idiots.
Yep. Dairy. Milk farm, you know. You plant the milk. Right?
Plant the milk right on top of the strawberries.
Archangel. In the beginning of Archangel, when the mom takes the daughter to the park, there is a Waldo lunchbox in the bottom of the mom's buggy.
I saw that.
There is a Harlech shadow poster hanging in Sarah's room before she goes to the lake with Trick, and that's the game from Playtest.
Oh, okay.
In Archangel, around 9 minutes and 25 seconds, you can see what looks like the same San Junipero postcard from Metalhead on the refrigerator in the kitchen. There is also a San Junipero postcard on a refrigerator in Metalhead.
It's the same house.
Anyway.
It's not. It's not the same house.
Early on in the episode of Archangel, on the TV, actually, the shooting scene that gets blurred out, that's actually a scene literally from...
Black Mirror?
Yeah, it's from... That one where they were killing the bugs. Men Against Fire, yeah.
Oh, fuck, yeah, that's old.
Yeah. There is a Tusk poster hanging in the daughter's room in Archangel that says, "I'm not hungry, I just want to sleep." And Tusk is a rapper from Hated in the Nation. Where they...
Yeah!
Lots of little connections here. This is why this is at the end.
Tusk, I was thinking Tusk with,
No.
What's his face? I was like, that's weird.
No. In Crocodile, the article Mia Burns is from UK Online, which is the same channel that was first featured in the national anthem, the pig fucking episode, which is also the news network they use pretty much every time they have a news network. Anyone Who Knows What Love Is played throughout the episode multiple times, which was originally in 15 Million Merits. When Mia's going through the porn... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that fucking song was stuck in my head forever.
Yeah. When Mia's going through the porn choices in the hotel room, Wraith Babes, which was the...
Wraith Babes!
Which was the
Million Merits.
15 Million Merits. Yeah, so they apparently exist into some sort of dystopian future. Or 15 Million Merits took place...
It does happen because someone flips through channels and...
Hot Shots is on.
Hot Shots is on.
So what is that? What is Hot Shots?
It's like American Idol or...
I actually have a theory about that. I'll talk about it at the end.
Or Britain's Got Talent or whatever.
There's a reference to a judge from Hot Shots of 15 Million Merits being caught with a rent boy in hotel room. So yeah, they do mention Hot Shots in that episode as well. And then the same pizza company is used in USS Callister, Crocodile. Fences Pizza is the name of it. Metalhead, this one's got a lot. When Clark successfully enters the ignition code, you can see loaded... :/BMS1E1.drivers.tna.pigpoke.
Pigpoke.
It's a file of... It's a file of the guy fucking the pig that became illegal after they did it. When Clark successfully enters the... Oh, blah, blah, blah. All these files are just references. I'm not going to list you fucking file names that are all the same.
Oh, good.
And then finally, Black Museum. We're going to have quite a few here. There's an exhibit of the artist... there is an exhibit of the artist in the national anthem hanging himself. Remember in national anthem it turned out that the guy who kidnapped the girl and made the guy fuck the pig, he was an artist?
Yeah.
In Black Museum, he's there in the background.
That's him?
It's a reference to it. It's probably like a wax.
Right.
Like, this is what he did. And I'll show pictures, by the way, so you can follow it. Jack in Black Museum is reading a Hot Shot comic titled 15 Million Merits that shows a picture of Bing on the front. Which it does. I'll show you that. Boop. 15 Million Merits. And then it's... Here's my theory on if we're going to try and consolidate Black Mirror into one universe.
I think it is.
I think 15 Million Merits and all those people on the bikes, they're all cookies.
Yeah.
I think they're all cookies, and they literally
that's what I assumed you were going to say. Yeah.
They exist to be contestants on Hot Shots.
Yeah, which means the judges are cookies.
But they can't be, though, because they said one of them got caught with a fucking underage boy.
That's right. So is it a screen? Because they never really touch each other, right?
No. I don't know. Theory. Anyway. The actor Daniel Lapine, who plays Max Harper, Liam's interviewer in the beginning of The Entire History of You, also... Oh, that's just a same actor thing. I don't care. Yeah, you're right. There's the BRB, be right back.
Yeah.
Victoria Scallane's picture is in the Black Museum.
Mm-hmm.
The white bear ski mask with that thing on it is in the Black Museum.
By the way, that's a good example of an exterior thing that I'm talking about in Black Mirror, where it wasn't because of any technology necessarily. It was more our attitudes toward not helping people and facing our phones. And then the twist was, well, she fucking deserved it. But also, it's very unethical.
Yeah. Headline, Waldo politician makes waves in Mexico is in...
Yeah.
Which, if I had to guess, is a way that they're going to write around... They showed at the end of the Waldo moment a dystopian future. Where
dystopian Japan.
Was it Japan? Okay, I don't know.
It was Japan because, well, he like floated, because it was Japanese writing everywhere, and Waldo was just really popular there, and he had moved there probably to get away from England, but it followed him there was kind of what he could have been. And
well, that's how I think they're going to get around Waldo stuff in the future. So certain countries it's a thing, but not in America and UK, because that's where most of the stories take place. All right. Rollo Haynes mentions rights for the cookies movement, which was one of the technologies used in White Christmas. In Black Museum, you can see the game from Playtest, the one that Kurt Russell's son was in, where he went into that mansion.
Yeah. By the way, that was I think we mentioned it back in the day. He still did a really good job.
Yeah, he did, actually. Yeah. Have we seen him in more stuff since then?
I haven't. If I have, I didn't notice.
Yeah, I thought he actually did a good job. You can also see... in the museum, an article that says Shao Saito trial continues, which is the designer of that game, implying he was found like culpable for the death of that guy. Maybe. Rollo Haynes has 2 mice named Kenny and Hector, which are the protagonists of Shut Up and Dance. Nice. San Junipero. Rollo Haynes worked for Ticker. Ticker is the company that developed San Junipero. I talked about that earlier. Nish asks if the digital consciousness transference is like when they upload people to the cloud. So see, they do say digital consciousness transference.
Which implies
a transference.
A transfer, not a copy.
There you go.
Yeah.
The hospital Rollo Haynes worked at was called St. Juniper. Yorkie and Kelly's dresses are on exhibit in the museum.
Yorkie? Kelly? Wait.
The girls from San Junipero.
Yeah, duh! Their dresses? Their wedding dresses?
That's just an Easter egg.
That's just an Easter egg. That can't be an actual artifact.
Because they're digital.
Unless everything.
Oh!
It's Black Mirror phones! Black Mirror!
This is an episode of Black Mirror.
Jesus Christ.
Charlie Brooker's right over there. He's fucking making us do this. And then finally, you can see the DNA replicator Robert Daly had.
I saw that. That was like one of the first things they showed.
Yeah, so clearly he got caught, I assume. Tommy's Lollipop is there as well. Yep. The tablet, which was used to monitor Sarah in Archangel, is displayed in the Black Museum. Headline, Archangel systems pulled from stores. And then the table on the corner during a news brief on the Weather Lady murder has a ticker that says, autonomous military dogs unveiled.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so...
So, well, there's their backstory.
Yeah. So that really is it. Those are all the connections from this season.
Yeah. We're not going to do the rest of the stuff because we already did those. So,